Hey everyone, I'm Red Beard the Hippy here with Upset and also member of Nebraska Holics.
Yes. Right.
And the production company of Upset Beats. And we're over here at the Plaza in Grand Island where they do Here GI, because he's got a performance July 12th with Chris Lager and there's one other artist and I can't remember her name.
Casey Stevens.
Casey Stevens.
Casey Stevens. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it.
We apologize if we got your name wrong, but Here GI. So we're gonna set up and do an interview really quick and just kind of ask some random questions and do our normal conversation. So how I know the name Upset has been around for a while because I've got people at work and everywhere else basically saying you're one of the OGs that's been doing this the longest.
Very true.
With setting up shows. How long have you been doing like the local shows? And
I mean, I've been doing like setting up our shows probably the last seven years, I would say. Before that, I performed and got involved in other shows. Just kind of started off as a just an artist and performer. And just kind of figured out with some of the people I knew around me how to kind of come together as a team and really start putting on our own event and bringing in sound systems, lightings, booking other artists for it around here and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say as far as doing our own shows, probably a good 6 to 7 years now. Yeah.
Well, I know you just did one with King ISO and Straw.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of faith in your team, and that show turned out insane.
Thank you.
The energy was great. Everything turned out really good. There was no technical issues, which is weird from a live performance, not having any technical issues.
Yeah. I mean, we got lucky with that for sure. Any time that a show goes off without a hitch like that, no technical issues, lighting issues, sound issues. That's what when you put together a show, and that's what you plan for and you hope for. You never know with a live show anything can happen, and it has in the past. So you just kind of got to roll with things when it does. But yeah, when things go as planned like that, and almost even better than you expected, I mean that's amazing, And big shout out to Strawstone and Nice Enough Entertainment, King ISO, and Project Be Well. For really, trusting in not only us as a team that helped put that on, but actually Grand Island as a market too. That show was on a Sunday, so I was kind of wondering how that would go with Grand Island being more of a working class town and not really a college town. But yeah, shout out to the community of Grand Island. Everybody really came out and supported for that show, and shout out to Bamboo for letting us do that show there. And we look forward to doing a lot more. So they're doing great things. We're doing a lot of great things too, and just trying to work together for the greater good of not only Nebraska hip hop, but also for artists that are really getting out there, outside of Nebraska. So
because I know with covering shows that you've been on, where you've invited me to, I've met quite a few young artists, which is nice to see the young kids. Because like Zay and Jakers are like 18 or 20 or 21 or something like that. Momentary pause for the train. After the momentary train delay.
And the cars. Everybody likes to rev out their cars.
And the stupid Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we were talking about the ISO show and the shows that you've been doing.
Talking about the younger artists.
And the younger artists like Young Lex and Zay and Jakers and King J and what's the other one that's been on quite a few lately? Jay Lunix. Like bringing in the different guys, because each one of those have their own style that they do, which is really cool to see in the music scene, especially the young kids, because at some point where the old guys are like, we need some new people in here, and they're up there just killing it every time.
And my nephew too, Braden's Faded, he's been on injured reserve right now. He broke his collarbone and stuff, so he'll be back on stage eventually soon. But yeah, just that whole group right there, Yeah, man, I got a lot of love and respect for them. It's mutual, you know. They've always reached out to me in a very respectful and humble way as well, and also very hungry. You know, I remember being a younger artist like that and not really knowing a whole lot of other promoters or you know, people that really put me in those positions. But as you go along and you know, keep trying at it and just you know, keep working at your craft, you'll finally meet some of these people. And when you see people like that are in those positions to put on shows or maybe give you a shot at the stage, you know, you reach out to them, and it's always good to be embraced by that. So the love and respect goes both ways, you know. I just I see it as like if we're all building something here in Grand Island, that I want to make sure that, you know, we're giving the younger artists those opportunities as well. But you know, everything is worked for too and worked at. So they show me that they're putting in the work to help their own selves, you know, and their own music. Then I'll definitely be one that tries to get them involved with the shows. I guess in some ways, you know, I've become kind of known for giving people that first shot at a microphone or their first performances and stuff like that. So I want to always continue to embrace the youth.
There's also that, like, nobody, like, I know gatekeepers are always brought up on stuff, and it's cool not having the people that are like, oh, you haven't earned your shot. But like you said, where you're seeing that they're hungry and what they're doing. Like, I know from being the outside guy looking in, like, okay, these guys are like promoting the show, they're hitting the flyers up, they're putting them around town, they're on social media,
they're reaching out saying, you know, what can I do to help, not only, you know, what can I do to help promote this show, what can I do to help make it a bigger event, how do I bring more people out, those type of things. You know, it really works together as a team. You know, if you build with, I think, your younger local artists, then you know, you get a different following too. Not just people that maybe follow my music for years, but some of the younger generation coming in might be seeing me for the first time. So you know, I think that's awesome that, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, necessarily, well, I don't want my fans, you know, learning this or learning that. I mean, I think the way to go is, you know, combine fan bases, and these shows can be really epic. So.
Well, yeah, because, like, I know when you put on the Mr. Capone show, like, I know that was a whole different vibe, and, like, for covering a bunch of different music styles.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
The hip-hop scene has a whole different vibe than what the metal scene has, or the rock scene, or different areas, and just being able to witness that and the energy that comes off the crowd is freaking insane.
Right.
So being able to see those,
that was an awesome show, man. Big shout out to Mr. Capone for once again, you know, trusting us into doing a great event here in Grand Island, Nebraska. You know, he's got a lot of fans out here, and so he was able to come through, and they were great to work with, and, you know, put on a great show, and all of us together really worked as a team. That was another one that, you know, that show went really well. Yeah.
Well, and I like how on that one I showed up and, hey, what do you need help with?
Yeah.
Like, knowing that I'm the photographer guy and the video guy, and it's like, what do you need help with?
Yeah, man.
Hey, can you help put these passes together? Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm over there putting in.
We were still making up for a little bit of lost time. Just kind of, you know, that's how it goes. Even leading up to it, there was still a few loose ends to tie up before we started the show and opened the doors and everything. So, like I said, I appreciate everybody helping me out. I get a lot of people hit me up sometimes. What can I help with? And I don't always know exactly at that moment what somebody can do, but, you know, if they're willing to help, I'll find something, you know, anything from like helping me do this or that, or even just moving some tables and chairs, clearing out some space, or setting something up. So I really appreciate the love and support that I get, you know, from other people, like I said, yourself and other artists, but really just other people within the community that say, you know, I want to get involved, how can I help? So trying to figure that out as I go. I'm sure there's going to be more jobs for people.
It's always one of those things, like, it's always a learning experience, because what you may need at, we'll just say, the Glass Bar is completely different than what you need at Bamboo versus
right. Every room, every venue, Inferno
versus what you need at help with at Kearney.
Yeah.
So it's always changing, it's always learning, which is and plus when you got people that are willing to jump in and help, it makes it takes the stress off of you on like, okay, I can focus on this because these guys have these things, or this guy has this, and I know that it's going to get done because they're taking care of it.
Right. And, you know, I'm, like I said, once again, just very blessed and grateful to have people around me that will help like that. You know, my boy J2B when it comes to sound, and my boy Thumper, Jaime Rodriguez when it comes to sound, Tommy Landy when it comes to sound. I mean, those guys have all helped me through events over the last few years. When we do a show at a venue that doesn't have sound, we got to bring everything in. You know, a lot of that is on them, and to be able to have that trust in a production team that you can bring in, it means a lot. You know, you want your shows to sound and look good, and so they've definitely helped me with that. So I mean, big shout out to them. But yeah, when you have a room or a venue such as 4th Street Banquet that's pretty big, you know, they have sound there, but at the same time, you know, you still gotta have guys that run it and make sure that it's all dialed in right. So I think that's part of it. It just depends on, you know, the venue you're getting. Do they have the sound there, or are you bringing in sound and lighting and stuff like that? But no matter what the room is, no matter what it is, there's going to be a certain feel to it when it's one of our shows, I think, that people have got used to over the years with consistency. So whether it's at a you know, a smaller venue like the Glass Bar, or a bigger venue like the 4th Street Banquet, people know that, you know, the shows we're going to put together is you know, going to be legit and be a good time. So like I said, I'm glad that over the years we've been able to build something like that. You know, it's been awesome.
I can vouch for they're a good time.
Hey man,
like I have a blast at
that's
them.
all that matters.
I know I'm running my ass off what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, we appreciate you.
Because even
it's
like
a lot of pictures, a lot of video to get.
Well, like even we've made the joke like we finally got to sit down and do the interview. But we've been at like 3 different venues and 3 different shows, and it's like, hey, let's do that interview.
Yeah.
And then it's, you're off and I'm off and I'm over here doing this. And
every time, yeah, we'll go and we'll get the interview done, and you know, and then it just, yeah, I mean, yeah, we're both busy at the shows.
But that's the thing, I mean, like we both also know how the live music is.
Right.
Hey, this person needs this really quick. All right, hey, I got to do this. All right, well, I'm gonna go talk to these guys, and we're all bouncing around, and like in the cool thing about your shows that I like too is it's there. Yes, there are a few of the artists that are the same, but you're always bringing in new people. So it's for me as a photographer and a video guy, I like going to those shows because, I mean, if I have the opportunity we'll just use 2 examples of like festivals where you got one where I've seen 8 bands and there's 2 new ones versus I've seen 2 bands and there's 8 new ones. I'm going to go to the one where I haven't seen the majority of the band.
Right.
Because
see what they're about.
It gives me a different experience.
Like. And then it's you know, another artist or performer to do photography for, or you know, get a chance to network and connect with them. You know, there's so many. Like right now, I just feel like there's so many great artists in Nebraska in general. That, you know, a lot of these guys I would love to put on shows. It's just, you know, I want to always keep it around, you know, 8 performers, maybe 10. It just depends on what it is. But I don't want the lineups to be too big. But, you know, everybody deserves that shot. It's just a matter of, I guess, to me, wondering like what artists will fit for that particular show or that lineup the best. You know, and a lot of these guys, you know, could check all those boxes. So I want to always try to give those opportunities, and like I said, but at the same time, I want to think about the overall part of the show and how that's going to be. You know, how's it going to fit leading up to the headliner and stuff like that. So there's a lot of artists that I haven't worked with yet, and I would love to. So if you're watching this out there, and you want to get involved in shows here in Grand Island, you know, hit me up. We'll definitely try to figure something out and get you on shows.
Or you can hit me up and I'll refer you to
there you go. Or somebody else.
That's the cool thing
Red
about
Beard knows a lot of people. So
well, and that's like the cool thing about networking when I've got people, because like I do a lot of stuff in Kansas still too. So like I cover from different areas. So when somebody's like, hey, we're looking at getting in Lincoln, who do we contact? And I can give you people to contact there at Grand Island or Kearney, or you guys will be like, hey, we heard this guy from Kansas, what do you know? And like I can give you an opinion on them, and like get them on a bill, they put on a hell of a show. Or I don't know on that one yet.
Yeah.
They're still building up. They haven't done enough yet.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against like an artist hasn't done enough yet. It's just we haven't seen enough. Like start doing some more of the local shows. If I start seeing your name pop up more, then it's like, yeah, I'm.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get that experience underneath you. And that's one thing too. I'm not gonna, take an artist that hasn't been on any shows and put them on a big event, and kind of like a gradual build up to that. Let's see how they do at one of the smaller shows. Maybe I'd recommend younger artists out there, if you're trying to get started and get your craft kind of built underneath you. Open mics are always a good way. Freestyling at house parties, like how I started. Just anything that helps build your comfort level of your skill, and also how you feel in front of a crowd. You don't just go from 0 to 60 like that, I guess. But some of these artists have, and it's awesome to see. I mean, it's awesome to see the progression from their first show to their 5th show, and say, wow, these guys are like absolute rock stars now. When they first, no one in general, but just in general, I guess you could say, from going from one show to your a few
Third
later, you get real
and
comfortable with it.
And you're a headliner all of a sudden, and it's
you get a comfort level that you get more used to it, more comfortable up on stage, I'd say. So.
Well, then like seeing how we're at the stage for Here GI, what's your biggest memory at Here GI?
Oh man, that's an easy one.
I got an idea what it is.
Yeah, I've got a lot of great memories from Here GI. There's so many great memories. Big shout out to TJ and Brent and Here Grand Island, the team itself. But TJ and Brent always were one of the first ones to really believe in me, not only as an artist, as a person, but also with what I was trying to do with hip hop around here. And give it more of a platform to actually put me up on Here Grand Island, So now I've been doing it, I think, 7 or 8 years in a row. But by far my favorite memory was from 2 years ago, when it was right before the 4th of July, and it was just a great night. It wasn't too hot. It was a little bit hot on stage, but it was just nice, kind of cool breeze like right now. But it was by far when my daughter was up on stage with me when I did Beautiful Girl. And, before she had got up on stage, she was right there in front, and she kind of reached out, and I reached out my hand, and my photographer that was here for that, Alvin Diaz, big shout out to Alvin, he just happened to see it and, just caught it right there. And it was by far one of the best pictures that I've had ever taken in my life. So it meant a lot to me, for sure.
All right, momentary break. Back from train break number 2.
Yeah.
We were talking about the father-daughter moment with the photo.
Yes, the epic photo that has, a lot of people have seen, and it's become something within my circle, within my group, of being an iconic photo for that performance. But yeah, as we were talking about, it was my daughter reaching up to the stage and me reaching down to her, and it just kind of happened in the moment. We were able to get the picture, and that's something that both of us will always have, and just that show in general. The show was great. Our performance was great. I felt really strong about the whole thing. But having a lot of my family there, that meant a lot, and my daughter being able to experience that moment. We still talk about it a lot. And then a couple weeks after that, my homie Trazy Bone, as some of y'all know, as I call him, Trazy Bone, Trey, our guitar player, my homie, helps me do a lot of promotion stuff too. Big shout out to Trey, by the way. But yeah, a couple weeks later, he hit me up and was like, hey man, I got a gift for you. And I just happened to be with my daughter that day, out doing stuff around downtown. And so I went and seen him, and it happened to be, it was a blown up, poster of that picture. So I got that at my house, and I thought that was a really awesome gift. And yeah, absolutely, man. I'll always have that, and she'll have that in our family.
It's
Somebody
those
will always
moments
have it,
as a parent where you're just like, I got to do that with her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes in life, sometimes with the music life, and the family life is not always synonymous, I guess you could say. You don't always have that blend with it, you know. It's a balance, you know. You spend a lot of time on music stuff, but you always want to be there with your family too. But for that show, for that moment, it felt like, you know, family life and music life just coincided perftly for that moment.
Everything lined up, which is rare.
It was. Hey, and it didn't storm on us, didn't rain on us. We were able to do our thing, you know. Shout out to the whole band, man. Everybody, I appreciate everybody, you know. Tommy Landy, my drummer, Jack Bailey, the bass. Like I said, Trey, my homie Jesse, the homie Eric, who's also a drummer, and yeah, I appreciate all y'all very much.
And and this is the cool thing about doing the interviews. We're talking about stuff that you're doing, and then we're also giving all the shout outs. So it also,
man.
And the biggest thing, like with talking with you and Kieran over at Ludacrantz, is just building up the community.
Absolutely,
and
man.
Showing
he's a great guy,
and he was giving shout outs to him, and like in the video we're giving shout outs to you, and like everybody's working on building something as a solid whole. So that's the cool thing. And I know certain towns there's always that one stick in the mud or that one asshole who wants to throw a wrench in it and screw everything up. And I've noticed in Grand Island I haven't seen anybody yet or heard about it. I mean, there's always going to be those people out there who want to watch people fail, but if more people are working together as a whole, then it's going to be a whole lot harder for the whole to fall apart.
I completely agree. You know, I think that's something that I've always tried to do is work with everybody else trying to do something in the community, whether it's hip hop or rock or any genre of music, really. I mean, I want to be able to support too. You know, as an artist, as a performer, you know, deep down inside me, I still like to be entertained as well, you know. So whether I go to other shows, try to support here Grand Island as much as possible, and try to make it down here on Friday nights as much as I can, and make it to other people's events too, to you know, show that support, just like they would for me. And you know, you really hit the nail on the head when you said that, you know, working together, and it builds more of a scene doing that if everybody works together. And you know, I've just always had a belief. It seems real simple, but I've always said something, and always said to some of the younger artists too, that support equals support, right? So if you feel like you want more support from somebody, or you're not getting the support you need, then maybe try to go out to other shows, maybe try to reach out to other artists and say, you know, something as simple as, hey, I'll subscribe to your YouTube channel if you subscribe to mine, or, you know, post this, you know, new song I got on your flyer, and I'll do the same for you. I mean, really independent artists just working together, I think, is the key. And you'll be really surprised of what kind of opportunities will come your way if you have that type of mentality. So I always try to have that mentality no matter what. Just basically, you know, I'm just another fish in the sea, as they say. You know, I'm just another grain in the sand. I'm just a person here trying to leave my mark on what I'm trying to do and build my legacy. But that legacy, if you will, includes a lot of people. You know, there's always someone that's always had a hand in you know, helping me along the process too. You know, some of the first people I started doing music with. You know, so. Well,
and even you said with like supporting, like you being a fairly big name in Grand Island, if little no-name guy whose first show you show up to it, it's gonna mean the world to him, because it's like, dude, he came to my show.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird, like looking at things in a different light the older we get, where it used to be like, you know, oh, I'm not going out there because these guys won't support me, and now it's like, dude, I'm gonna go out and support everybody I can, or I'm gonna share flyers, or I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because then when you show up to their show, everybody's like, dude, you're here. This is so awesome. And it's
for sure.
It's a different vibe and a different understanding of how rather than going against the grain, if you become part of the flow of things, it flows so much better, and you get so much further.
Yeah, and I mean, and like you said, I mean, like I said, that's very, very true. And in that scenario, let's say that was a scenario or something, you know, me or whoever the artist is showing up to see somebody's first show or something, we might not realize how much that actually means to that said person, right? So to be able to really make someone's day like that, I guess you could say, or show that support, not only does that make them thrilled to see you there, but it probably inspires them to even go harder and to even become better at whatever they're trying to do, and I think that one of the main things, especially with me personally, is the will to just keep going. Man, there's going to be times where you're going to be told no, you're going to be, not everybody's going to like your music, not everybody's going to be a fan, not everybody is going to be supportive, or whatever it might be. Or you might start with these people and they might, not do music anymore, or whatever it might be. But I think one thing that I always try to tell people is if this is a real passion of yours, if it's something you really want, just continue doing it. Just keep going down that road. At times it seems so hard, to just keep banging your head against the wall, but you don't want it to drive you insane or nothing like that. But if you don't keep going, then that next big break might be around the corner, and you might not ever get to it because you let something else detour you from that, or you felt like it wasn't happening for you and you quit. And for the people that have, then that's understandable as well. I mean, how long can somebody really pursue something, right? But for me, it's more of just that constant consistency of trying to just keep getting out there, trying to not only put out music, but put together shows and really build a community within that. Because like you said, there's going to be a day where maybe I'm not on stage, and that's just life. And so what I would like to do is just maybe be able to pass on some of the knowledge I have from learning over the years the hard way, from just
a lot of us
trial and error type stuff, and maybe help some of these younger artists avoid some of those pitfalls along the way, and carry on that message of building together.
Well, and I know from where I used to live, like, it was divided. Like, only this city you could do shows, but the only way to get into it was you had to know a person who had, like, massive pull. And I've noticed now there's no longer a lot of that. Like, oh, you want a show here? Cool. Mm-hmm. What day? Yeah. And there's a lot more people who are working together. It's like, okay, we'll get you in on here, but we need to, throw us a show back in 2 months in your area, and you're doing that, and you're trading shows.
Yeah, that's a really good way to work with people. That's kind of some of the stuff that I do with my St. Louis crew. Big shout out to Zeus, Rebel Waters, Yurdy G, the whole St. Louis family of mine. Man, we've really got close over the years just by working together like that, trying to help each other. Helping them put on some shows here, and then them bringing me down to St. Louis to do some shows down there. And even though it's only, even though I just had that show, it's like I still have people that I met on some of these travels, whether it was St. Louis or New York or, South by Southwest, that I still talk to this day. It's not like I've seen them in person in years, but we still communicate and still network. So it's good to make those connections, and you never know. I mean, we can all help each other out one way or the other. And so, and you actually build, legit friendships through the music. So that's always been a big part of it for me, is that sometimes I just go, wow, it's awesome how far I've came. But a big part of that was just some of the people I know, some of the friendships I have. I mean, it feels pretty cool to, know people from state to state, coast to coast in a way. And I think that's a big part of it. Like I said, just building on these friendships, building on these partnerships, relationships, and just showing that support. I mean, there are just so many creative people out here, whether it's music, art, photography, interviews. I feel like it's just that time in the world right now where everybody's just creating,
Oh, yeah.
Even something like people that just create memes all day to make us all laugh, I mean,
but they're still creating
so silly,
something.
but something is, it's all these are, all these social media stars or whatever it might be. I feel like just people are very creative right now, and we live in a really good time for entertainment. And so, I hope that I'm just doing my part to not only provide the entertainment for my hometown crowd, but also include other entertainers and creatives.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate your time for the interview.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I appreciate you. Big shout out to Red Beard the Hippy. Make sure to check him out. If you're a fan of mine, make sure to keep following, come to the shows. If you're new to my music, you can check me out on Instagram is Upset Beats. My Facebook's Upset Beats. Find me on YouTube. My channel is Upset Beats Music. And then on Spotify, Apple Music, and some of the digital platforms there, it's Upset. So yeah, check me out.
You did a pretty good job of being able to name everything after the same thing.
Right. That's when you need one of the QR code scans just to put up to that. That'd be an actually good idea. So, but yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, I appreciate your time. Finally got this interview in. I'm sure it won't be the last.
Only took 3 months or so.
So yeah, just if you're out there. My last thing I will say to any artists, any creatives, just keep going. Don't worry about money or fame or things like that. Those things are going to be along the road. And but first and foremost, think about your craft. Think about putting out content, staying busy, staying booked, and yeah, just keep going.
And supporting.
At the end of the day, just keep going and supporting other people. Yeah, absolutely.